Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be putting keyless entry in the 92 Dodge Stealth. This is just a continuation of the series that we have going on of essentially just bringing this car up to modern day standards. Stay tuned. I'll get a lot of slack on why I'm using, this type of system, and I'm not wiring it directly into the anti-theft system of the Stealth. I've used this kit. I've used this kit on classic cars. It's anything that you want to add keyless to. The modules are not that big. I know they kind of seem a little bit bigger on video here, but there is room in those door panels to put these in here. Second, I'm not a contortionist. I do not feel like crawling upside down trying to stick my hand in a place that a 3-year-old child could barely fit their hand to get to the wiring that's required to wire this into the powered door lock switch. So I'm just not doing that. And again, this took me maybe 5 minutes to pull out what wires I actually need. I'm going to trim out what I don't need. And I can wire it simple. It's out of the way. It literally needs a power, ground, and signal for these. And when I pull the panel off, I'll show you where we're going to mount these. There's a small little gap in between where the panel sits that's not going to rub on the window, and I'll show you how we do that. So these aren't super complicated instructions, but for anybody that's trying to make heads or tails of this, essentially they give you this big humongous wiring harness, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to start, I already separated you can see where the red, black is going to be your power and your ground. Off of here then, your first set of wires, you have the ground, white wire, brown wire, blue and green wire. Now the blue and green wire is actually coming from the main hub here, from the main plug, and it gets spliced about, I don't know, 4 different times here. But what I want to do is I want to isolate those wires to try to make this a little bit easier. I'm not going to be using, this is for 4 door lock actuators. I only need 2. So I'm going to isolate the wires that we have on here following this diagram. You can see the driver one is going to be the main one that's going to have the majority of the lines coming into it. And actually we're just going to need 2 wires, which is going to be 1 blue and 1 green off of here to go into the secondary switch. So when you unlock it the first time, it'll unlock the driver door. You unlock it the second time, it will unlock the passenger door. And it'll be the same principle when you hit the lock button, it'll lock it. So I'm just taking the wires and again isolating. I know that I'm going to need these 4 for the driver side. So I'm splitting the harness. I'm going to loom these together. Actually, I think right now I'm just going to electrical tape the sections, and then I can make this look pretty down the line. Do have to grab that secondary ground because that ground does have to go in with this loom, and make this as pretty as possible before digging into the car, because if you can figure out the wiring first, it's going to make laying this out a lot easier. blade that you're going to need for this is a whole whopping flat blade and Phillips screwdriver. And literally, you're going to start taking the door panels apart. Screws everywhere. And you do want to kind of keep the screws where you had them, so you don't lose stuff like that. And gently, once you have all the screws out, the rubber's getting killed on this. Gonna have to eventually fix that on the window sweep. There's a couple kits that you can buy. You can buy the ones that piggyback into the BCM itself. I'm tried to go the little easier way. So again, you have your little door actuators, and the way this is designed and set up to work, find a place to mount these in here, and this little actuator that's on here, when you press the unlock, will push the striker out, lock will push it. The nice thing about this is that there's enough real estate in here that this can survive and live without causing too much disruption with you placing everything in the door panel. I'm going to be careful with the weather stripping, because the weather stripping, being, I don't know, 30 years old, you kind of don't want to rip it, but you want to at least start it to get it off the back. And the nice thing about this stuff is, if you do it right, you can reuse it again, which means you don't have to worry about trying to re-glue it all back together. Get all over my hands. So anyway, this is the rod that we're looking for. Lock, unlock, lock, unlock. And we're going to have this living somewhere in here. For tons and tons of fighting, wiring is ran in through the grommets, in through the door. I don't know if you guys can kind of see that. And through the door, through the backside, and the rod does have a place to live. You can see it's there. The rod runs up, and attaches to the door, and kind of just give you an idea how this works then. Here's your lock and unlock. So if I unlock, lose it, lock it, unlock. Easy as that. Now, believe it or not, it doesn't look like we got very far, but I just wanted to show you. Yep, keys in the ignition. Unlock. Lock. Yay! It's a win. And the other side is rinse and repeat. Definitely can't beat today for a spring day, though, I'll tell you that. Doesn't feel like spring, feels like summer. Gooey. And again, it's going to live about right here. I'm going to hope that I can get the majority of this down without having to, because when the sun is beating on this stuff, I'm going to tell you, this stuff is extremely sticky. Like, not even funny. It gets all over the place and takes you 20 years to clean. It's sticky. We'll make that work. Or not. Stick, like all over wires and all over the interior. Yeah, that's all I want. It's not so difficult. Okay, I'm gonna be smarter this time. After all that, we now have it together. I'm just going to show you this real quick. So, door lock. Door unlock. I'll consider that good to go. That's going to wrap up today's episode on Devo D. If you like this type of content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Check out my other videos on the Dodge Stealth. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.